If you wanted to train your muscles to be stronger, what would you do? Would you practice lifting a 1 kilo weight or a 5 kilo weight? The 5 kilo weight, right? What if you wanted to be a faster runner? Would you sprint for 1 second or 30 seconds? 30 seconds, of course. You likely knew the answers to these without thinking. Not because you're a world-class athlete, although maybe you are, but more likely because you understand that the way you practice something dictates the results you get from that practice. That's not to say that you need to always do the hardest thing every single time. If you want to gain muscle, you'd be well served by lifting 5 kilo weights, but you would not get much benefit from trying to lift your entire house. Different types of engagement are appropriate for different circumstances. Your brain works in exactly the same way. The way you engage in a mental skill has a profound impact on how your proficiency in that skill develops over time. That's why I divide my language learning activities between 3 levels of engagement: passive, active, and proactive. These 3 engagement levels can be applied to each of the 4 major language skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Let's consider reading first. When you're reading passively, you're just reading as you normally would in your mother tongue. Just you and the book, reading continuously until you stop. When you read actively, you read like normal. But as you read, you take notes. You engage with the text. Maybe you read out loud or scribble useful vocab words in the margins of every page. When you read proactively, you do all of the above, but take it to the next level. You prioritize active reading and make it happen regularly. You schedule time in your day to get reading done. You have a special notebook dedicated to all of your favorite and most useful words and phrases. You not only read with intent, but you review what you read with intent as well. Next comes listening. Passive listening is what you'd probably do with a podcast in your target language during your commute or while washing the dishes, for example. You have it on in the background and your attention fades in and out. It's just there, and it's not even what you're mainly focused on. You definitely absorb some of it, but not most of it, let alone all of it. Active listening is listening with your full focus. Maybe you're seated at your desk, as I'm doing right now, with your headphones in, or you're outside on a park bench enjoying the breeze. Whatever you're doing, your main goal is to process the speech that's currently being piped into your ears. That means the dialogue of a movie, the conversation in a TV talk show, the lyrics of a song, you name it. When you listen proactively, though, you do all of the above, but again, you take it to the next level. You don't just listen to audio. You follow along with the printed transcript that you have in front of you. You have a pencil close at hand so you can write down any cool new phrases you hear. Maybe you take a few minutes to practice shadowing or the mimicking of a native speaker's speech patterns. Or maybe you're trying to write the transcript yourself by transcribing what you hear as you hear it. However you're processing the audio, you're fully attuned to what you're hearing. Your attention is focused, and so your ability to retain detail skyrockets. What about speaking? Well, when you speak passively, you just speak. You don't try to analyze what you're saying, nor do you wonder how you can actively improve. Your main focus is on communication, and you could care less about what mistakes you're making, so long as your speaking partner understands you. You also stay rooted firmly in your comfort zone and avoid taking risks by using words and phrases you've never attempted before. When you speak actively, you have the additional goal of trying to process what you're saying so that you can build upon it for the future. Perhaps you're in a tutoring session and your tutor is taking notes of your mistakes for later discussion. Perhaps you're recording a monologue on your phone so you can listen back later and judge your performance. Speaking actively means pushing your boundaries as well as filling in gaps. This goes double for conversing actively, which requires asking questions, making comments, and listening intently to what your speaking partner is saying. When you're speaking proactively, yet again, you bring things up to the next level. For example, you might have a recurring weekly session scheduled with your favorite online tutor so that you can give a prepared speech on a wide variety of topics. Or you might start a monthly language meetup with native speakers and other enthusiasts so you can practice conversing with 2 or more people on the fly. You could even join a local Toastmasters group dedicated to making public speeches in your target language. Proactive speaking requires forethought and continually challenging yourself to speak clearly and eloquently in a wide variety of situations. What about passive, active, and proactive writing? Well, for that, you'll have to visit my blog where I've expanded everything I've shared here with more information and examples. Look for the link in the description box. Anyway, after all that, you might think that being proactive is the way to go, all day, every day. Not so fast. If only things were so easy. I'll agree with you that the proactive mode is indeed the most powerful way to learn, but there's a catch, a big catch. You, like me, and most people around you are terribly lazy. No. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm talking about a biological fact rooted in the history of our species. Once upon a time, our ancestors had to fight to survive. Every day they had to eat, and if they wanted to eat, they had to hunt and kill, or be hunted and be killed themselves. If they weren't out engaging in the ever-important task of finding food, our ancestors were resting, maybe even relaxing. Why? Not because they were chronic procrastinators, but because they needed to save their energy. Any ounce of energy wasted at home was an ounce of energy that could have been better used chasing down dinner or avoiding being something else's dinner. Now, here in the modern day, we may not need to save our energy to find food, but we're still hardwired to preserve energy where not in life or death situations. And considering there are any apex predators between you and your refrigerator, that means you're preserving energy, or in other words, being lazy most of the time. This is why a lot of people choose the path of least resistance when it comes to learning languages. People love passive, short activities that don't require them to step outside of their comfort zone and take any serious risks. A couple of minutes on Duolingo here and there, a few messages sent on WhatsApp or Hello Talk, and maybe a target language song or two playing on their iPhone. That stuff, in and of itself, won't take you very far. As always in language learning, the question is not one of absolutes. I'm not saying that you should do only proactive learning or that you should pick just one of the three to stick with forever. In reality, the question is inclusive. You should not favor just one of the three types of learning, but rather incorporate all three into your life in different places and scenarios. You need to find a balance between active, proactive, and passive learning that is dependent on your energy, attention span, motivation, and attitude, which can all vary from day to day and even within a single day. To get you started, here's what I propose. Make a list of all the activities you like doing in your target language. Divide them into three main categories according to each learning mode: passive, active, and proactive. Then, dedicate your freshest, most alert hours of the day to proactive learning. In my experience, this will be roughly 20% of your day. The remaining 80% of your day, when you're tired, you're commuting, or otherwise busy with something else, you can take part in both active and passive activities as appropriate. If you'd like to learn more about passive, active, and proactive learning, as well as specifics about how to practice writing in all three modes, check the description box below for a link to my blog. There you'll find an in-depth article on this topic, as well as an example PDF which explains how I divide my time between all three types of learning. And as always, thanks for watching, and if you enjoy the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for lots more great content to come.